Ready to buy a car, a home, or just want to take control of your money? Your FICO score matters, and 90% of top lenders use it to make decisions. Check your FICO score for free today without hurting your credit score. Visit myfico.com/free or download the MyFICO app today. MyFICO gives you the score lenders use most, plus credit reports and real-time alerts to help keep you on top of your credit. Visit myfico.com/free and take the mystery out of your FICO score.
Yeah, there's a few more Cameo clips. This is some of the videos that have gone out on Cameo, minus some of the happy birthday Tick Biddy Dave. You know, none of those obviously, because that would be boring to use. But these have got a bit of a waffle in them and stuff like that, and there's a bit of a bit of tongue-in-cheekness, I suppose. I will edit them out and that, so you won't hear the names of the people. They're all gonna be to Tick Biddy Dave and his associates, and he has an awful lot of associates, does Tick Biddy Dave, you know. So if you want one of these, cameo.com/worldaroundyou. If you want to hear more podcasts as well, join the Patreon, because now it's dead easy to listen to the podcasts on Patreon. You can listen to them on Spotify. You'll find the link on the Patreon, or if maybe on the link on this, if they let me link them together. But you can now listen to those on Spotify so long as you're a Patreon subscriber. So that's patreon.com/worldaroundyou. And you can also on there, on Patreon, you can give me like a little question, little prompt, and I'll see how long I can ramble about that sort of thing, and if I can make any jokes on it sort of thing, see how long we can go. Because it's fun, mate. I like chatting shit. As you're going to see here, here's the first Cameo. This one's for an event, a music event that's taking place in October. It's hard to imagine, but people have actually asked me to advertise something for them, which involves socialising, mate. Being in a dark room. Well, as it turns out, a very well lit room. So here you go. Here's the first one. Yeah, mate. I got a little message for you from Hydrated Audio. There's a new event, mate, at the Visions nightclub in Manchester. There's going to be 3 rooms. It's been refurbished. There's going to be a laser show, mate, a light show. It's going to be all sorts, mate. Well, I say all sorts. It's going to be music, mate, innit? Obviously, it's going to be drum and bass. It's not going to be, there's not going to be like a petting or out like that. There might be a bit of like heavy petting in the smoking area or something. All consensual and above board, I would hope. But there might be something like that. But I very much doubt that someone's going to, like bring a goat along and be like, do you want to feed me goat? Tin cans, mate. They fucking love a tin can, They love little, like, empty bean cans. But you got to make sure you've rinsed them out first, though, because, I'm going to recycle them after, and I'm not doing that for you. I don't think there's going to be any of that, but there will be some music, mate. Like I say, 3 rooms. So I'm not the 6th, mate. Now, I know what you're probably wondering as well. You're probably wondering what this is in my hand. This is a dead fox's head, mate. I've got nothing to do with the event at all, other than I've been paid to tell you about it, mate. That's all. I don't even know how much it is. I just know it's at Visions nightclub in Manchester, and they've recently done it up, apparently. Apparently it's pretty nice in there as well. Or as nice as it can be for a drum and bass event, innit? It's better than hanging round in, like, under one of the viaducts or something, though, innit? It's nice to have a roof over your head, especially, start of October. Rain's starting to properly set in. It's starting to get a bit colder and that. Don't go out to the woods that night for a party, don't do that. Shouldn't be doing that anyway, mate. I shouldn't be encouraging that. Don't be hanging round under viaducts either, or like disused train tracks and that, or old warehouses and stuff. Go to Vision nightclub instead, mate. It's run by Hydrated Audio. Like I said, if you want a ticket, go to their Instagram page and you can use that link on there, or apparently you can use the D&B Lab Insta on Skiddle. Don't know what Skiddle is, mate. Don't know if that's a typo. Hopefully it means something to you lot, and you lot are going, oh, what a fucking gimp, mate. You don't even know what Skiddle is. Look at him, he's a fucking weirdo. What's even that on his shirt? It's part of the logo for me podcast, like that. It's a creature I made. That's half of a rat. And this is like about a dozen baby chickens, mate. And their beaks around the eyeballs. Because I make stuff out of dead animals, mate. I've got nothing to do with music. Don't worry, I'm not going to be at the event, innit? I'm not going to be there trying to, sell you bits of rats and that. I'm not going to be doing that. But I will try and show you this, though. What do you reckon to this? You're not going to see any of these at this event, mate. When I said there's a bit of everything, there's definitely not going to be a toilet brush made out of a deer's leg and a bit of duckling skin in it. I call this my nail brush, mate. Because it's a big nail in it with a brush at the end.
But that's got nothing to do with the show. That's just a bit of something to do with me. So this doesn't seem as weird, innit? You know, it might seem a bit strange, mate. You seem like, who's this fella here? Who's, you know, looks like he's not had a shave or a wash in a week. And that's actually quite a conservative estimate for a shave. Not far off for a wash. Probably not the best person to be advertising this, mate. But I like I said, I definitely won't be there. So don't worry about that. There's going to be people there who are actually into music, you know. So maybe you've had enough of, you know, you've been at work all week. So I don't even know what day October the 6th is, mate. Could be a Friday, could be a Saturday, might even be a Sunday. Could be a Tuesday for all I know. I haven't checked. But you might be thinking, you know what? Got a couple of days off round then. I wouldn't mind going and meeting some strangers and falling in love with them in the smoking area for a few hours and then being like, yeah, you know what, I will come back to your kitchen, Tigbiddy Dave. You know what, I would fucking love to see your new chopping board, mate. I'm going to come to your house, you're going to show me your utility drawer, you're going to show me where you keep your utensils, lad. You're going to show me your airing cupboard and how you keep your towels in there. Do you roll them? Do you fold them? Do you know what I mean? And you're going to go there, you're going to be enthralled with it, mate. You're going to be like, this is fucking mint, mate. This is amazing. And you're going to sort of come round a bit later and be like, you know what? I had a fucking well good night at Visions last night. Probably going to go there again when Hydrated Audio do another event there. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm really glad that I met this fella I can't remember the fucking name of. And then as you're sort of like creeping out, stepping over them all in like the kitchen and the dining room and that, and you're just sneaking out the back door, you know, because you've nicked one of his fucking like dining chairs, because, you know, you don't want to have to stand at the bus station. You're not going to take it with you all the way, you just want something for at the bus stop, innit? Something to sit down on, something to rest your legs on, because you're feeling a bit delicate, maybe a bit tired. Maybe you're still feeling it a bit from last night, you know, and you're still thinking, you know what I need? I need something to bring my head around now. And instead of reaching in your pocket and like skinning up a cigarette like that, you know, having a little rollie, you might get your phone out and you see, oh fucking hell, what 15% charge, mate, there. I'm going to listen to World Around You's podcast. The fella that told me about this thing, mate, I'm going to listen to him talk about aliens, mate, and how they're there and how they're chasing us and how they're trying to get us and that. Because that's the perfect thing I need in this mood right now, mate. Because I had a well good night at Visions nightclub last night. And I fucking hope that this has convinced you to go and order a ticket, mate, from them. Go and buy yourself a ticket. Go out, enjoy the event and that. Fucking... See you in a bit, mate.
Hell of an advert, innit? I think you'll agree there. Now, obviously, it's too soon to know if it's been a success, you know, this advert, because that event's not taken place yet. And I've actually been quite nice there. I think I've shuffled around the videos when they came in and that, in the same way that I'd delay some for birthdays. I thought I'd bring this one a bit sooner, because it's a little bit of extra advertising for them, and if they think, you know, if people are like, I got it because that taxidermist, like that guy with a dead fox on his hand, mate, oh, fucking, you know, do you know what I mean? Maybe they'll come back to me and be like, could you do another video? Maybe don't go on about, you know, molesting people in the smoking area, but could you do another one for us? And I'll be like, yeah, mate, no worries, you know. Anyway, moving on to this next one. We've got I've got a bit of information here for the next one to give you the brief, if you like. Tell Tigbiddy Dave he needs to stop getting on it every weekend. Say, we don't want to hear blah 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 at 3 a.m. every Saturday and Sunday. It's not on, mate. And tell him, stop phoning people, waking them up and saying blur down the phone. And whatever you want to add with a laughing face. So, this one's about a little bit longer than that last one. This one's about 6 minutes longer, so there will be a little bit of editing within this. And if I remember rightly, I had to record this one 5 or 6 times because the app kept failing when it was uploading, which is a problem that I think I've now rectified and shouldn't happen again. So remember, if you want to order one of these cameos, there's a link below. Obviously they're all different. Maybe there's a theme amongst them, I'm not sure. There's definitely a theme amongst this first one and second one. It's people being off their faces, you know. There's nights out as the theme so far. But anyway, here's a cameo for our big Tigbiddy Dave. Here you go.
Apparently you need to stop getting on it every weekend. I've been told to say we don't want to hear blah 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 at 3 o'clock in the morning every Saturday and Sunday. It's not on, me. And stop phoning people, waking them up saying bleh, bleh, like that down the phone, mate, because that's a fucking weird thing to be doing. Now, I'll be dead honest with you.
Tigbiddy Dave.
This is the third time I've had to record this clip because it keeps going wrong. So, it's been annoying. For some reason, I've not been able to send this one through, and I'm really hoping that this one works, because I don't know how many more times I can talk to you about stuff that I have no idea about. But in the past ones, they wanted me to, I've had to even get them to redo it just to try and see if that fixes it. So if this seems a bit weird and a bit meta, it's because it is. But they wanted as well, they were like, you need to stop on the drink and drugs so much, you know, because it's not good for you, and it's not good for you. I mean, it's probably not good though to go cold turkey neither, because that happened with me nan. Like, my nan got to like the age of 80 and we shoved her in an home. She was a cunt, don't feel bad for her. She was mean and horrible, nasty old woman. But she'd drink like 4 or 5 big cans of Super Tenants a day and a load of whiskey miniatures all through the day. She was a pisshead, mate. She was you know, an unhealthy person in every way you could think of, really. Except like physically, she was actually like the picture of health until she stopped drinking at the ripe old age of 80. And it turns out your body starts to need them things. So if you're relatively young, man, you should probably try and knock it on the head, innit? Otherwise you'll end up dying when you're in your 80s, like very quickly, going from being very healthy but pissed or high or fucked to being sober and very, very ill. Because imagine the come down, mate, after like years of getting on it, or the fucking come down after years of being pissed, you know, and that fucking hangover finally hits. You'll feel like shit, mate. But what if like people start to use it to their advantage though, to try and manipulate you? If they know you've got a bit of a weakness and they're like, you know, we could do here, I need help shifting all this stuff out my house and I don't want to pay a removal man for it, but for a 4-pack of Stella, fucking
Take Biddy Dave
will do it. He'll come and help us for fucking 10 hours. I'll just pretend to be his mate and laugh at what he says and give him a few beers, and he'll fucking help us out, mate. He'll do it for that. That's fine. And maybe even a Big Mac, mate. But what's that? That's what, a tenner? Give him a tenner. And he'll help us move a couch, a 3-piece suite, mate, and a telly. Do you know what I mean? You could really use, even if you're in like a line of work, mate, keeping him with like fucking care homes and that, right? What if, say you're one of these guys who's got like a private ambulance. Not like you drive around pretending to be a taxi driver, but you pretend to be an ambulance driver and get injured women into the back of it so you can molest them. Not like that, not one of them sort of people. One of the sort of people who goes and collects dead bodies and that. Well, what if you like piss somebody off, right? And then they use your weakness against you. Say you are a private ambulance driver and you're going to go and collect, for argument's sake, my dead nan, right? You're going to go and get her, right? You go to the care home and they're like, oh, we've been nicking these little miniatures, a family bringer, because they keep bringing them and we haven't told them she's stopped drinking. They just think she's gone mental because she's acting weird, but she's actually sober. We've just been robbing them all for Christmas parties and that. And you're like, oh, alright. And they're like, come on. And they pour one in their coffee knowing they're getting the bus home, and they pour one in your coffee or your tea for you. Like, go ahead, go and have that. And you're like, oh, go on then, fine, fuck it. And you drink it, and you set it down, and you fucking, you know, you get me nan and you fucking sling her over your shoulder and you just fucking walk out with her, you know, and you fucking dump her in the back of your van in the fridge. Or I have no idea how this business of yours works, but that's what they do, right? And then they ring the police, and they're like, there's a drunk driver. He's driving around with a dead body in his car and he's hammered. I'm pretty sure he's drunk. I know he's drunk, so I watched him drink and then start working. And then they're going to report you. And then say this is a family business, mate. Say you work in a family business. Your dad and his dad ran, or your mum and her mum. I don't know. It doesn't matter who's in your life. I don't know you. I don't even know if any of this is true. This is. They said add whatever you want to add, mate, and this is where we've gone with it. So now like your granddad's business that you've inherited from your dad and he inherited from his dad, and when they've all handed it to you, of going and collecting dead bodies from care homes and residential suites, right? And maybe the odd hospital as well, if it's like a private hospital, you know, someone's died in there. But you're now tarnishing that name, mate. Ever since your granddad was doing it on horseback, you know, an horse and trap, fucking using rope, tying rope around the people's ankles. This is how his business was, as you know, was able to do so well, mate. Because if you hadn't been tying the rope around the ankles of the dead people and dragging them from the horse and trap, he wouldn't have worn down all the flesh on the body and just been like less bones, and he wouldn't have been able to save as much money as what he did on whole size and fucking box size. Because by the end of that journey, it's just bits left. Sometimes even just the shins, and he just popped them in like the equivalent of a little wooden shoebox and buried them like a dead baby, mate. And that's apparently, I think, well, that's how I think your granddad went on to have such a successful business with like a private ambulance and sort of funeral providers, but not really funeral, just moving the body back and forth. But that could happen, mate. You could ruin all of that by staying drinking and drugging it up, Like I'm not really. I used to drink quite a lot. I would drink every day. I was the sort of guy that would wake up in the morning and reach for whiskey or gin, depending on my mood, really, what I had. But I was a big fan of that Sainsbury's Basics whiskey, because I thought that was actually quite nice, because it was about, I'd say, 11 quid a bottle at the time, and you could get through it in a couple of days, a fucking decent sized bottle of it. Just have it in my coffee, have it in my Coke, have it with water, just have it on its own. Just everything I was drinking through the day had whiskey in it. I was just hammered all the time. And I knocked that on the head, mate, and fucking look at me now, mate. Fucking getting paid £10 off strangers off the internet to ramble that nonsense at them. So it's not all bad if you stop, bro. Something good could happen. You could go insane and start fucking taking the heads off of foxes, bro.
There you go. Pretty weird ending to that one there, wasn't there? It was a bit of an odd one. I don't really know where all of the private ambulance stuff came from, if I'm honest with you. Not too sure. But it was all right. And we'll move on to the next one, which is I think this one. Yeah, so this one's another one for the relation to the recipient is the friend. They would like a pep talk. That's a laugh, which I didn't understand what that meant. The reason for the pep talk is because your content is jokes and we enjoy it. Which is something that's always annoyed me, man, when people say, oh, that's jokes, that. You're like, nah, man, it's funny. The word you're looking for, lad, is funny. It's a funny thing. You find it funny. You don't find it jokes. It's one of the... I don't have, like, a problem with slang. I just don't like some slang because it seems fucking pointless and weird, man. It complicates things for no reason and makes people sound a bit daft, innit? It makes them sound a bit slow. But... something special he wanted me to know about him. Could you just do like a product idea back and forth with him? Tell him to leave finance and get into taxidermy like you do. Focus on scrotum skin and on amalgamations. So obviously, I'm not going to be that enthralled with the idea of telling someone to quit the job and become my competition. I don't want that at all. But I imagine I even say that in this video. I don't remember. This one's from like a month ago now, as I've recorded. So yeah, here you go. Here's the next one.
The request on this one again.
Tigbiddy Dave. So Skinny Carl's
asked me to give you the pep talk, and it gets quite confusing. But he just wants me to fucking chat shit to you basically about the stuff I make. But there's a bit of it where he does want me to tell you to leave finance and maybe get into taxidermy. I don't want you doing that, mate. I think that's a very fucking risky move. I would have fucking loved the job in finance. The idea of waking up in the morning, you're like fucking, oh yes mate, fucking 7:30, love 7:30, because that means I'm on my way to the bank to mis-sell mortgages to new couples and, parents with 4 kids who can't afford a new mortgage, the 4th mortgage. Be like, yes mate, fucking buzzing mate. Gonna sell loans to people who can't pay them back. Just live life like a criminal, mate, like an outlaw, but in a nice tidy suit. Can't do this job in a suit, mate. Look at this. You can't be hanging round here in a suit. It's so dusty and fucking just like dusty, mate. I don't know what the other word for it would be. It's not dirty. It's clean. I keep it clean. I tidy it up and that. But it is dusty, hairy, mate. There's loose hair just knocking about. But speaking of loose hairs. See if you can see any hairs on here. Sorry if it makes me gurn, because I hate doing little fiddly things with my hands. Yeah, you can see a couple of loose hairs in there, can't you? This is a scrotum pendant, mate, a rat scrotum pendant, not. And I've been trying to come up with other ideas. This is why I'm glad that I reread this. Because he said tell him to leave finance and get into taxidermy. I read that as try and convince you to give me 50 quid to come up with a new idea with you. Now, this is why I've wrote books, mate, because my brain seems to work wrong. So I probably couldn't do finance anyway, innit? I couldn't do it because I'd just be doing everything. I'd be doing everything wrong, which is why this is like a very happy mistake, misunderstanding stuff and ended up with a fucking rat pencil case and in the papers. It's sick. But look at this. This here is a glass jar, which I've filled with little scraps of rat scrotums, because I don't like the idea of inside these rat scrotum pendants. I don't like the idea of using 2 pieces to make it, because it seems like I'm cheating the buyer. Really, what the buyer wants is the buyer wants one solid piece of ball sack in it. You know, so, and I've used them occasionally, ball sacks, for other things. No, I haven't used it on this though. This is one of my amalgamations. This is called the waterboarder. And if you've got a life in finance, mate, you could probably afford this one. It's one of my most expensive amalgamations, if not the most expensive amalgamation. Purely because it's my favourite, mate. I think it's fucking mint. Because he's surfing, in my head, right, it's dead obvious that he's surfing on a blue surfboard over some blue water crashing behind him. You know, he's going like that. He's got an head made out of a duckling. Well, his head is a duckling, not made from a duckling. His body, though, is made from mouse. Then he's got hands made from baby chicken toes. And he's got duckling feet, mate. It's fucking mint, innit? Called him waterboarding, and people online were like, oh, you might want to change the name of that because waterboarding means something else. Just completely missing the joke, you know. Here's my newest amalgamation. I just made him the other day. Made one of these for me mate's lad, because he wanted something weird, but I didn't want to go too weird because I think he's 12 or so, maybe 13, so I didn't want to go too mad and make him something fucking rude about. So I made him one of these. I'm calling them dead wingers. It's got a rat skin, 2 top halves of 2 different baby chickens' beaks, but I wanted that curve, mate. You know, if you get into taxidermy, you'll know what I mean. You want the curve of the beak, man. You don't want the fucking flat bit of the beak. That's good for making like an open mouth, I've found, but I wanted a nice, big, prominent, closed mouth. So I've used the top halves of 2 baby chicken beaks and a little bit of goat skin up here for a little head piece, or a little hair piece. But yeah, that's fucking, you know, I'm hoping, maybe, well, I mean, different ideas for what we could do with this. I've thought about doing, you know, like fingernails. You know, what women wear, and some blokes, I suppose. You know, like fake nails, but with ball sack, rat ball sack. But I don't think it'd be too obvious what they are. I do want to come up with something, though, for all these little scraps, because it seems a shame to just keep it in a jar. I've considered, though, once it starts to touch the cork, maybe each time I'll do them as a giveaway, as a prize draw or something on my TikTok or my Instagram. Probably not on my Facebook. I don't know if you've been on my Facebook, but my Facebook's basically the Wild West at the minute. Just people pointing out my penis and just completely ignoring any post about the taxidermy or stuff I'm selling on my website. But the rat scrotums might bring people back to the Facebook page, though. I don't know. Might scare them away as well. I don't know, though. You gotta play it carefully on there, really. It's but yeah, rat scrotums, mate. I don't know what it is I'm going to do with them. I've got a few ideas. Like, I like the idea of making tiny little faces and then covering them with rat scrotum, popping little eyes in. But it probably won't be very obvious what it is. It might just be a case of, you know, popping a little piece of it in little resin key rings or something like that. Maybe just in regular key rings. Because some of the pieces are almost big enough to fill a locket, but they're not. And I don't want to double up on them. Because I've got fucking more than enough of them knocking about, man. Look at them fucking rats over there, mate. Look at them on the line. Like 3 of them, well, at least 3 of them have a scrotum still on them. Them ones on the right-hand side. Easily, mate, easily got ball bags on them. I'm not sure if the others do. I can't really tell from here. I don't think one does. I think one was a girl rat, but the other 3 were boy rats. It's easy to tell because they got massive ball sacks and huge testicles.
I think that one was one of the best ways to end, just with the words huge testicles. So I hope you've enjoyed these. I hope they've not put you off the idea of going and ordering your own Cameo. It's a little, you know, it's a little something for you, and then I share it with other people like this. I mean, maybe that takes away the little element of it, but I don't think it does. I think more people then get to enjoy it, innit? I think that's, you know, I'm happy to do ones where it's your birthday. If you tell me, you know, don't share this around, that's fine, I won't. But I think people will appreciate it, you know, and you're letting people into a little bit of yourself. And I mean, you got to bear in mind some of the information I'm giving is stuff like, oh, they can take a joke, and that's it. Or I had one which will probably be next week's or the weeks after, I think, if I use it, and it just said roast them, and I was like, I was thinking, I don't know the minute. I don't know these people. You've not sent me a description or anything about them or a name or a video, nothing. Just roast them. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. Maybe I used it in last week's, I can't remember. But yeah, so, you know, if you want it for another person like that, then I do need a little bit of information in them. But if you want one, cameo.com, patreon.com/world around you. There's a link in the description below. There's a link in everything that I have, my Linktree link on Instagram and that. Give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. There's always new videos and that. Join the Patreon. You can get a free trial on there. 7-day free trial. You get access to over 200 bonus podcasts and loads of videos, and it's mostly podcast related stuff, to be honest, on there. A bit of taxidermy and new stock announcements. And whenever I make a new wrap pencil case, they get told first, exactly down to the minute and the second when that pencil case will be listed on the website. So for the past few that I've sold, it's been Patreon subscribers, I think, that I've gotten him. So yeah, go and do that, and I'll see you on Monday with a new episode of Here's How. Unless you're bulk listening to these, in which case I'll see you in a second, mate. Don't skip the adverts, because that's how I make a couple of extra pennies. See you in a bit, mate.